So you mean to tell me, after 20 years, a public proposal, matching tattoos, and more drama than a Tyler Perry finale, Chrissy just got emotionally body slammed by a single Camron leak? Oh no, baby. This ain't just a breakup. This is a full-blown Hollywood-grade implosion streamed live in 4K with popcorn on the side. And Jim Jones, the man who rode for her through every street rumor, TV scandal, and mama beef. He packed up, walked out, and didn't even flinch. Not a text, not a quote, not even a single cryptic Instagram story, just silence, the kind that screams louder than betrayal itself. Now, hold up. Are we really acting surprised? 'Cause sources, and by sources, we mean the streets, and some very talkative stylists are saying that this was a long time coming. Camron didn't just expose Chrissy. He might have ended the Dipset dynasty in one shady, passive-aggressive move. Leaked voicemails, grainy hotel footage, and a suspicious PDF folder titled The Final Straw. Baby, this is deeper than cheating. This might just be the biggest betrayal since Kris Jenner signed Kim's tape deal. And guess what? We're only getting started. It all started with a soundbite. One grainy voicemail. It's just a few chilling words, whispered in the dark, and suddenly, Chrissy's entire empire went up in smoke. No warning, no buildup, no room for damage control. Camron, in all his petty glory, dropped a leak so brutal, so surgical, that even Twitter had to sit down for a minute. And Jim Jones, the man who once said he'd go to war for Chrissy. He took one look, stood up during dinner, and walked out the door like he'd just seen a ghost. Not a word, not a backward glance, just gone. It's like a man who finally saw the receipts he'd been ignoring for years. Now let's not sit here and act like Chrissy's name hasn't been floating through the trenches of hip-hop drama for the past 2 decades. She's been the ride-or-die, the alleged puppet master. The reality TV royalty with a suspiciously perfect eyebrow arch during every confrontation. But nobody, and I mean nobody, was ready for this kind of takedown. Because this wasn't just a shady tweet or a heated reunion episode. This was a full-blown digital assassination carried out by none other than Camron, the original Harlem instigator with a track record of saying too much at the wrong time. Or, depending on how you see it, at the perfect time. The leak wasn't even long, just 13 seconds of audio. A woman whose voice sounds a lot like Chrissy saying, "I told you if he ever found out, I'd be finished. That's why I needed you to delete it." Delete what exactly? That's what the internet's been asking nonstop. Because Cam posted that clip with a caption that simply said, "They always come back to haunt you." No tags, no names, just vibes and 1,000 daggers pointed straight at Chrissy's carefully curated public image. Within minutes, the video went viral. Gossip blogs had it on loop, YouTubers were already filming reaction videos in their cars, and the streets were losing their minds. Chrissy hadn't even logged on before her name was trending in 5 countries. And Jim? Oh, he saw it. He saw it, paused it, zoomed in, and then ghosted. Just disappeared. No phone call, no defense, no "we're working through it." He packed his bag and walked into the Miami sunset like a man who just realized he'd been living a lie. But hold on, you think this was random? Do you think Cam just woke up and felt like throwing his ex-friend's entire life into the garbage? Disposal for no reason? Nah, this goes way back. All the way to when Chrissy was floating through Harlem with a baby fat jacket and that look. You know the one? She was already rumored to be too close with Cam when she and Jim were still figuring things out. Back then, it was all whispers, backstage glances, and cryptic lyrics. Cam once dropped a line in a mixtape. "Watch your chick, she texting ghosts." Everybody laughed. But now? Now it sounds like a confession. And let's not forget, Chrissy was never just Jim's girlfriend. She was the heartbeat of love and hip-hop. The woman who proposed on national TV before it was trendy. She made bold moves. She was front and center. But behind that boldness, apparently, a trail of secrets, silences, and receipts she prayed would Never surfaced. But baby, they did. And they didn't just surface, they exploded. Because hours after that voicemail leak, Camron followed up with a blurry, dimly lit photo that showed a woman who looked a lot like Chrissy sitting way too close to him at a private lounge, hand on thigh, head near his ear, and no Jim in sight. The internet zoomed, enhanced, slowed it down like it was CSI, Harlem, and suddenly things weren't looking good. The photo was allegedly from 2015, right when Jim and Cam had a mysterious fallout. Right when Chrissy suddenly started becoming less visible around Dipset circles. Coincidence, please? The comments were flooded. It was her all along. Now, Jim's reaction makes sense. We need Mona Scott to drop the raw footage. And just when people thought it was over, it got worse. Much worse. Cam went live. Not to deny anything, not to clear the air, but to smirk and sip something brown while casually scrolling through what looked like a folder labeled backups. No talking, no laughing, just pure pettiness. And at the end of that live, he dropped one line. She said, "I'd never do it, so I did," and logged off. Twitter in shambles. Instagram flooded. Reddit threads were being born by the second. Theories started popping up that Chrissy and Cam had a thing before Jim ever made it official. Some claimed that's why Mama Jones never liked her. Others dug up old interviews where Cam said he had to fall back from certain circles out of respect. Respect for who? Jim? And where was Chrissy during all this? Nowhere. Not a post, not a tweet, not a clapback. It's just radio silence, which made everything even louder. Meanwhile, Jim was spotted by a fan in South Beach looking like a man who hadn't slept in a week, hood up, headphones in, not even making eye contact with the valet. This ain't your usual breakup energy. This is soul-crushed, emotionally vacant, don't task me nothing energy. People close to Jim reportedly say he hasn't spoken to Chrissy since the leak. Not one word. Her calls go to voicemail. Her texts left unread. And insiders say he's even considering moving out of their shared spot in Jersey permanently. Now, here's where it gets juicy. 'Cause, allegedly, this ain't the only leak Cam has. It's anonymous sources, and by anonymous, we mean everyone from barbers to background dancers are claiming there's a second video. One that shows Chrissy and Cam in an even more compromising situation. Not a lounge, not a party, but a hotel, timestamped, location tagged, and allegedly. That's the one that made Jim Jones walk out of dinner without finishing his plate. Not the voicemail, not the lounge photo, but the hotel footage that Cam is allegedly holding for part 2. What does that mean? It means we're not even at the peak of this mess yet. We're just climbing. And you'd think Chrissy would be doing damage control, right? Calling up PR reps, lawyers, therapists, maybe even Mona herself. But nope, she's gone dark. And when someone that loud goes that quiet, you know it's bad. One of her former makeup artists even claimed on IG Live that Chrissy canceled 3 shoots in a row, didn't return calls, and told her assistant, "Don't let nobody in this house." So what's really going on behind those doors? Is she heartbroken? Is she scared? Is she lawyering up? 'Cause baby, the public ain't showing mercy. They're calling her a traitor, a snake, the reason Dipset broke up, and the real villain of hip-hop's longest engagement. And just when fans thought it couldn't spiral any deeper, a blog dropped what they called the smoking gun. A screenshot of an old DM allegedly from Cam's burner account to a gossip page. It said, "What if I told you Jim's girl was mine first?" It's got ignored back then, deleted even. But now it's been screenshotted, shared, dissected, and memmed into oblivion. And the message is clear. This was personal. Cam didn't just want to expose Chrissy, he wanted to destroy her. And if that DM is real, this leak wasn't revenge. It was a long game move, years in the making, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. And that moment was now. If you thought that voicemail was messy, the hotel footage was downright nuclear. Because when that clip finally hit the internet, and yes it did, it shattered every illusion Chrissy had built over the past 20 years. Blurry, sure, but the timestamps were clear, the voices unmistakable, and the vibe intimate. Way too intimate for someone who was supposed to be committed to Jim Jones. The footage showed a dim hallway, a hotel door creaking open, and a woman who looked way too much like Chrissy slipping inside just minutes after Camron walked in. The comments section exploded instantly. It's the reason she never got that ring. Jim was fighting for his life while she was out here booking suites. Cam really played the long game with this one. And the worst part, Cam didn't deny a thing. In fact, he doubled down. Posted a second clip from the same night, this time just audio. It was low, but you could hear Chrissy's voice whispering, "Don't tell nobody I came here." Too late. Meanwhile, Chrissy, she was spiraling. And this wasn't just hearsay. Multiple anonymous sources, from her nail tech to someone who claimed they once walked her dog, reported that Chrissy had basically locked herself away in a Hamptons hideout. No press, no posts, no nothing. It's just isolation, broken glass, and screaming matches with herself. One assistant allegedly said she walked in to find Chrissy pacing barefoot with a shattered wine glass still in her hand, mumbling they weren't supposed to find that. "He promised me." He who? Cam? Jim? The assistant? We don't know. But what we do know is this meltdown was giving season finale energy, and the world was eating it up. And if that wasn't enough, Jim's silence was starting to get real loud. No tweets, no subtweets. No Instagram shade, nothing. The same Jim Jones, who claps back at fans for talking about his braids, suddenly had nothing to say. Please, that man was hurt. And his face said it all when he was spotted out in Miami 2 days after the hotel leak, rocking all black. Shades on at night, drink in hand, posted up in a corner of a VIP lounge while the DJ blasted Dipset classics. Like it was a funeral. And when We Fly High came on, fans started chanting F*** Chrissy, like it was the national anthem. Jim didn't flinch, didn't sing along, didn't even blink. Just sipped his drink like he was mourning the version of his life he thought was real, and then came the lawsuits. 'Cause baby, when you live in the spotlight, your brand is your currency. And Chrissy's was plummeting faster than Twitter stock after a Musk tweet. First to go was a luxury wig line she had just partnered with. They deleted every trace of her from their page and posted a vague statement about prioritizing values and trust. Then a jewelry brand she was set to launch with pulled out, completely demanding she return her advance and threatening to sue for image damage. One sneaker brand even started removing her promo photos from their ad campaigns like they were allergic. Within 48 hours, Chrissy went from influencer to invisible. Her income on life support. And just when we thought Camron had squeezed all the juice out of this scandal, he dropped another bombshell. He went live on Instagram again, this time holding what looked like a manila folder with finalstraw.pdf. Written across the top, "Oh, you thought he was done. He hadn't even opened the vault yet." He teased the folder, said he wasn't going to drop it just yet. He wanted to give everyone time to process. Process what? The murder of Chrissy's reputation in real time. This man was playing chess while everyone else was still trying to find the pieces. The internet begged him to post it. Drop the file, Cam, end her career. Expose it all. Cam just smirked and logged off. Cruel, calculated, and iconic. But wait, there's more. 'Cause leave it to the internet to dig even deeper than Cam. Some Reddit users started comparing this whole saga to an old 2007 photo that had resurfaced. One that showed Chrissy and Cam way too cozy at a Dipset event. Cam's hand was low, like real low. Chrissy's face was close, like Whisper Noor, close. Back then, people brushed it off as friendly. But now it looked like Exhibit A. Twitter forensic analysts were zooming in, matching earrings, comparing timestamps, trying to determine if this friendship was ever just that. Spoiler alert, it wasn't looking good. And as all this played out online, Chrissy's world continued to collapse offline, according to one stylist who claimed to be on her glam team. Chrissy had a full-blown panic attack during a closed-door meeting with her inner circle, hyperventilating, shaking, crying, saying, "He's never gonna forgive me. It's really over." Someone had to call a private nurse. He said her blood pressure was so high she almost had to be hospitalized. And if that wasn't dramatic enough, another alleged friend claimed Chrissy tried to write Jim a handwritten letter, a last-ditch effort to explain. The letter supposedly read, "I never meant to hurt you. I was scared. I thought I'd lost you already." Heartfelt. Maybe too little too late? Absolutely. Meanwhile, Cam was still playing puppet master. He posted a meme that said, "Loyalty, expensive for some, cheap for others." The caption, "This ain't even about me no more." Really? Because it looked a whole lot like it was. And the streets agreed. Everyone from Love and Hip Hop cast members to ex-Dipset affiliates started weighing in. Yandi posted a shady tweet that simply read, "Some of y'all been fake." Karma just exposed it. Even Remy Ma slid in with a disloyalty always comes to light under a gossip post. It was open season on Chrissy. No one was pulling punches. And let's not forget Mama Jones. Oh yes, Jim's mom, the queen of I Told Y'all. Energy went on Facebook Live and dragged Chrissy like she'd been waiting her whole life for this moment. "Y'all said I was a hater. I told you that girl wasn't right." Now look, the comments were savage. Mama Jones knew all along. She tried to save Jim. She don't miss. It was like watching a slow-motion train crash while someone laughed over the loudspeaker. But through all this, one thing became clear. Chrissy's silence wasn't power. It was panic. Her brand was collapsing. Her relationships were torched. And Jim? He was reportedly already in talks with streaming platforms about a possible docuseries titled The Last Straw. Because nothing says healing like monetizing your pain. And honestly, can you blame him? After 20 years of defending her, fighting for her, proposing to her, loving her, she gave him hotel footage and voicemail regrets. That's cold. And Cam, just warming up. Because that folder marked finalstraw.pdf. He still hasn't dropped it. Camron had the world waiting, watching. Refreshing his page like it was the Super Bowl. That mysterious folder marked finalstraw.pdf was now the most feared file in hip-hop history. And just when it seemed like he was going to keep it locked forever, he finally did it. He dropped it, and the contents. Well, let's just say if you thought the hotel footage and the voicemail leak were explosive. This was full-blown napalm. Inside were 2 grainy photos, a few redacted documents, and 1 screenshot that sent social media into cardiac arrest. Photo 1 showed Chrissy in a lounge with an unknown man. Not Cam this time. Someone taller, lighter-skinned, dressed like. An exec with his arm draped over her shoulder while Chrissy smiled with her eyes closed like she just got whispered a secret. Cute. Maybe if she wasn't supposed to be with Jim at the time. But it was photo 2 that really broke the internet. A hotel security cam still of Chrissy and that same man entering a room 5 minutes apart. Timestamps. They were there. Facial recognition. It's practically confirmed by TikTok detectives within the hour. And who was the man? That's where it got insane. The internet did what it always does, dug deep. And faster than the FBI. Within hours, fans were comparing tattoos, matching outfits, and pulling up old music videos like they were in an Ivy League crime lab. The conclusion? Some claimed it was a powerful exec in the music industry. Others swore it was a rival rapper who had beef with Jim back in 2015. But the wildest theory, that the man was a major A-list actor who had been quietly tied to Chrissy during her brief stint in LA. You know, the kind of rumor that could tank endorsements, break NDAs, and ruin public images in a matter of seconds. And suddenly, this wasn't just a petty love triangle, it was a whole Hollywood-level espionage saga. And it wasn't stopping. because right as fans were trying to catch their breath, a former assistant to Mona Scott Young came forward anonymously with a recorded voicemail. In it, a woman who sounded eerily like Chrissy was heard saying, "Cam knows too much. I told him never to say a word. If he flips, I'm done. Jim will leave me for real this time." Again, not confirmed. Again, nobody cared. The audio went viral in under 10 minutes. Gossip pages were reposting it with headlines like Chrissy's last confession and the tape that ended it all. Reddit exploded. YouTube commentary videos were uploaded by the minute. TikTokers were lip-syncing the voice note like it was a Broadway monologue. Fans were convinced Chrissy had been playing chess for years and Cam had finally knocked her queen off the board. Meanwhile, Jim finally reappeared in New York at a scheduled club hosting gig. No performance, no words. He just stood in VIP, arms crossed, drink in hand, emotionless while the DJ blasted Dipset bangers. And when the beat for "We Fly High" hit, the crowd didn't chant the lyrics. They chanted F*** Chrissy. Loud, clear, repeated, and Jim. He just closed his eyes like he was either praying or replaying every lie in 4,000 resolution inside his head. One attendee said he looked like he hadn't slept in days. Another said he nodded once like he was finally free. Free from the lies. Free from the manipulation. Free from 20 years of almost promises and receipts he never saw coming. Back at Chrissy's private hideout, things weren't looking any better. Rumors flew that she had to be monitored by friends after a near breakdown. One nurse allegedly told a tabloid she couldn't breathe. Kept crying, "He hates me. He'll never forgive me. It's over." She was reportedly checked for panic-induced symptoms after collapsing in the middle of a screaming fit. Broken furniture, makeup smeared on her bedsheets. Wine bottles overturned on the floor, every detail painted a picture of a woman whose world had shattered beyond repair. No glam squad, no PR team, just silence and heartbreak. And then came the cherry on top, Mama Jones. Jim's mama, the one who was always side-eyed for not liking Chrissy. The one who the internet called a hater. She went live on Facebook and read Chrissy like a journal entry. "Y'all clowned me when I said she wasn't it. You think I ain't see the looks?" The side smirks. "I knew she was hiding something. I knew." The comments were brutal. Mama Jones knew all along. She tried to save Jim. "Y'all better apologize to that woman." And just like that, public sympathy did a full 180. Chrissy was no longer the misunderstood ride-or-die fiancé. She was the mastermind villain of Dipset drama. And Mama Jones was the unsung prophet we all ignored. And if you think it stopped there, think again. 'Cause that little thing called brand sponsorship, yeah, that's gone too. One high-end fashion collab hit Chrissy with a lawsuit demanding their $60,000 advance back, citing breach of moral clause. Another company sent a cease and desist to stop her from using their name in her bios. She went from influencer to liability overnight. The same companies that once fought to get her in their campaigns were now fighting to pretend she never existed. No publicist could spin this. No statement could clean it up. This wasn't a scandal. It was a career funeral, and the casket was designer. Now here's where things get even more suspicious. Word on the street is Mona Scott herself is reportedly working behind the scenes to re-edit old love and hip-hop footage. Yep, apparently there's a secret scandal-cut version of past episodes being assembled, showing moments that were left on the cutting room floor, Chrissy giving shady glances, emotional breakdowns, and cryptic references to Cam. An unnamed editor even claimed that Mona is prepping a redemption special with never-before-seen clips. Translation: Chrissy's whole legacy is about to be rebranded into something even darker. And guess who's allegedly been approached for interviews? Jim, Mama Jones, even Cam. Everyone except Chrissy. And speaking of Jim, he was recently spotted walking into a private meeting with a top streaming platform. Word is he's considering a tell-all docuseries, not a sit-down interview. It's a full-on 6-part breakdown of his relationship, the betrayal, the footage, and the aftermath. Sources say he's already received a massive offer and production could start within weeks. And if that's not wild enough, apparently the working title is Loyalty, the Last Straw. Oh, yeah, he's ready to talk. And this time, he's not sugarcoating it. Chrissy, meanwhile, is still silent. No Instagram. No interviews. No podcasts. Just a digital ghost and a legacy that's been flipped upside down. But one source says she wrote Jim a second letter. One that didn't beg for forgiveness, but begged for the truth to stop being used as a weapon. The letter allegedly read, "I wasn't perfect, but I didn't fake the love. I lost myself trying to keep everything together. You were real to me. I hope I was to you too. Deep, maybe, honest. Possibly." But by then, Jim had already been seen without his engagement ring, looking lighter, cleaner, and surrounded by people hyping up his next era. The Chrissy era was over. The Cam leak had officially done what 20 years of reality TV? Couldn't Tendem Dot and Cam? Well, Camron posted one last meme, showed a chessboard flipped over with the caption, "Checkmate. Love, don't pay attention." The comment section went crazy. Fans crowned him the King of Petty. Chrissy was dubbed the Queen of Betrayal, and Jim, the broken-hearted knight who finally left the board. No apologies, no closure, just chaos. And if you're still here watching this unfold, just ask yourself, was it all real? Or was this the most brutal, most orchestrated fall from grace hip-hop has ever seen? Either way, one thing's for sure, this isn't the end. This is just the beginning of a brand new storyline, and baby, it's being written in real time. So now that the dust has settled, or better yet, exploded all over the internet. What do you think? Was Chrissy really playing a long game of secrets, lies, and hotel hallways? Did Camron just pull the most legendary petty move in hip-hop history? Or was Jim Jones the last to know in a story that everyone else had already read? Because, let's be real, this wasn't just a scandal, it was a cinematic takedown with receipts, drama, betrayal, and a plot twist that not even Mona Scott could have written better. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Was Chrissy a victim or a villain? Should Jim forgive or forget? And is Cam a hero, a hater, or just a man who finally said, enough is enough? We want to hear from you, the real internet detectives. Because the truth isn't just in the footage, it's in the conversation. If you've made it this far, don't play yourself. Hit that like button, smash that subscribe, and turn on the notifications so you never miss the next bombshell. Because if this is how messy it's getting now, just imagine what's coming next. One leak, one live, and one love story completely destroyed. And trust us, this tea, it's far from cold. Stay tuned, stay messy, and most importantly, stay woke. Stay woke.